So today I went to see a Malayalam movie in a cinema hall for the first time in my life. Now, I had seen the first part of Lucifer, which was directed by Prithviraj in his directorial debut. This is the sequel. I'd seen the first movie on streaming and liked it. So, while not entirely anticipating that a sequel would be coming, when I learned that this is coming, I was sort of interested. I haven't seen the trailer, I haven't seen the teaser. I straight away went to see the movie because I saw an interview featuring the lead Mohanlal and the director and co-actor Prithviraj in a promotional interview. I felt that this might be a movie which I can watch. Also, it's a weekend, I didn't have anything else to do, so better to spend in a theater. Now, it's the first time for everything. It's like I saw a Malayalam movie in a hall with English subtitles. It's also first time I'm trying to create a video based on my opinions for the movie. Now, one thing which is done at the start is the way they have revealed the title of the movie. Visually, it is very good, right? Because I'd rather not explain how they do it, because that would be a giveaway. Although throughout this video I would be presenting my opinions in some manner or the other with regards to other giveaways without exactly revealing what the plot is. So that visual depiction is very great, and the way they reveal the title credits, visually it is excellent. The only other movie of which I actually praise the title credits is a movie from a long time ago. That was Farhan Akhtar's remake of Dawn that came out in 2006. This is 2025. Now there is to say something, right, when attention is paid to the details that are depicted. The movie's story is starting in 2002, which is historically very significant for India. Now, I do not have much political know-how, though I am aware of many things. But to put it simply, there are good and bad people in all strata of society and in all religions. People can say that, okay, why are you always targeting us? But there are stories based on things which have happened. It's always the case of there are always three sides to a story. That is your, mine, and the truth. You never know who is right, because you can't be better than the other one can't be better than you, and this debate will go on forever. There's a commentary about the political intermingling of religion at the beginning of the movie itself. They are not holding back when making such statements, which again makes me wonder that had this been a movie in the Hindi language itself, this would not have got such takers, because I don't know how they do it, or there are people in my region who are probably prone to opposing at everything, and even this movie will ultimately lead to people opposing from things. But there are things which work because it is told in South Indian cinema and not in the Hindi speaking cinema. If somebody tries to do that in Hindi speaking cinema, they will be bashed left, right and center online, and then all the PR activities will do their tasks regarding whatever is applicable. Now the point is that those statements aside, the story of the movie begins in 2002, and the title credits are visually depicted very well with regards to some points. Even before the credits, a scene happens where you're not shown somebody's face, but you know. Now, if you are pretty young while watching the movie, you will feel shocked. If you are of my age and aware, you already have an opinion. If you are of my age and unaware of many things, like me, then you'll try to look at it as a story inspired from reality but having its own world. Okay, so now when the title credits roll, there is a song that indicates Empuraan. I don't know what Empuraan means because I do not know Malayalam, but when I read from the subtitles and later when I came back home, I checked on Google. It is something refers to what the subtitle said was overlord. So somebody who's controlling a lot of the activities. Everybody in a way looks up to him, whether out of fear or respect, that is dependent on the person themselves, but it's an overlord. It means like somebody who is ruling over many other kinds of rulers. Now, being an action film primarily with some political drama, this is different from the first film, which was a family drama with some politics. So this is primarily an action film, again obviously with some politics because they are trying to make statements about many things. I do not remember much about the characters. You should see the first part, then get to see this. Even if you don't, it will not make much of a difference because there are some flashbacks and storytelling points which will make you realize what might have happened in the first part. I only remember the two characters played by Mohanlal and Manju Warrier. I don't remember much else from the first movie. I hadn't even seen it before going to see this movie because I generally have an idea when I'm going to see a sequel, and I rarely revisit a film. Rarely. As for thrillers, I already know what the twist was. It's generally only for comedies where I see the first part again or try to, because guilty pleasure. Now, the point here is that they are trying to represent the colors and the scenery very well. I think generally Malayalam movies have lower budget compared to other industry cinemas, perhaps. I mean, I'm going by comparison to Tamil, Telugu and Hindi. So if you consider only that standpoint, because financially I'm not that aware, if you consider only that point, then whatever they have managed to pull off in this movie is excellent. It is a much bigger scale than the first one. Okay, it has got international actors going to the scenario, and apart from that, they have still kept focus on the core set of characters. Core set being the ones played by Mohanlal, the one played by Manju Warrier. There's another character played by Tovino Thomas, and Prithviraj, who directed the first film and has also directed this, is also a key character. And I forget the name of the actor who played villain. Probably Arunodaya Singh, but I don't exactly remember what his name is. No, it's not Arunodaya Singh. Anyway, so the point is that language is mostly, the film is about in Hindi and Urdu. There is Malayalam there, here and there, because it is trying to show a global scape, a case of national politics. You may argue again, as I said in the beginning, probably I didn't, maybe, because this will be the third or fourth time I'm trying to record it without making an errors. So it's like you can say that why are they targeting our religion? Why not them? Why not that? Just look at it as a story, because this will always happen, that there are some things in yours that others will hate. There are some things in others that we will hate. If you are looking at the story as a story, learn the right lessons, try to make reforms in yourself or around you if you can, but don't go about bashing everybody, because an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Now, if you take only that statement, then the point is that the movie is doing exactly that part also. Somebody was a victim of hate, he vows revenge, and the way he was given hate and the actions which had happened, he had to take a revenge, so he also did some things in return. This is a movie. You are not meant to take it seriously. They raise many issues, they talk about it, so that you remember that they have to be approached in some way, but in legal way, not in the way movies do, because there is no law in a movie, but in the real world there is. We have to be sane about many things, we have to act in that way, so better not take to action the way they are doing. Do not act in that manner. But I mean, it's a movie, right? So leave that part out. And I, being almost 40 now, I was excited while watching the movie, and it is very tough to make a 3-hour long movie and still keep it entertaining. And it is not because of aura of these stars, because I haven't grown up on them. I started seeing other languages movies as an adult. So though I like the work of some actors, but it's not that I worship them since childhood because I've always seen their movies. Or SRK probably I might, because I have grown up watching his movies, but not for other industries. Still, the point is that you make a 3-hour long movie and you keep it entertaining. It's a pretty good feat, right? And the symbolism in the movie is very strong, because my religion is different from the high school and middle school I studied in. So, because that was a missionary school. Now the thing is that I am aware of some symbolisms, so which is pretty strong in this movie. Plus I watched a lot of Hollywood movies, so the terms will ultimately come to you even if you do not know the holy text. So the difference is that here what happens is that there's a lot of symbolism which is presented with regards to the letter L and Lucifer. And as the title credits itself has been designed very well. The only other significant title credit sequence which I recall is from Farhan Akhtar's Dawn back in 2006. So this design here is very good, even though this is very disturbing because of the events it is centered around. Still, it is pretty good in design. And also the color contrast. There is one scene specifically where there is a dark forest and there are sniper rifles with laser pointers. In Indian movies, whenever they show darkness, they have to show everything in a blue light. And red is a pretty striking color that is often used in laser lights. So the red versus blue contrast in that scene, if you see when you get to see the movie, that is very impressive. Okay. And there is another case, like they are trying to present the letter L everywhere to indicate the presence of Lucifer, including at a certain point in the movie where the effect of Lucifer has caused a change in the automobile transport. The number of the car ends with 666. There is a scene where someone asks someone else that who is he, We, the watcher, knows that it is Lucifer. But in the movie, obviously the other characters don't know. So you see a burning tree. It is at the point when somebody asks, where is or who is Lucifer? Who is the one who has done all this, basically? Another part of the tree burns down, falls on the ground, and that creates an L, the entire burning L. There's another scene where a cross falls off the top of a church. Now you know that this does look like an L, but not exactly like an L because it is a mirrored form. Right? So, of course, later in the movie, it is shown the way it is supposed to be shown. But you as a watcher, if you understand what mirroring is, you will understand at that point itself that this will be presented in that form somewhere down the line. Now, there are so many characters, but they have paid importance as per plot requirement. There's even a scene where someone hands over a gun to someone else. Now, this, I do not know if it is intentional, but because of there are a lot of slow motion and hero entry shots in the movie, what I understand is, in a way, they're trying to depict a passing of the torch. That I was the superstar, I'll still continue to be, but you are from a younger generation than me. You are doing good enough work, especially because you've also directed the movie. So here I am giving you this responsibility to carry our industry forward. On that specific point, it made me think of another movie which everybody hated. I didn't exactly hate that movie. That was a Hindi movie released last year called Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. There are two leads in that movie. One is probably a little younger than my father. The other one is, I guess, the same age as me or a little younger than me. The younger hero in that movie is very good in action and dance but cannot act at all. The problem with that movie, despite being derivative of so many other properties, specifically Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, then there's X Return of Xander Cage, the one with Vin Diesel, and there was another one. I can't recall exactly. Oh yeah, the plot mainly is G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. That was directed by Stephen Sommers. Stephen Sommers is the guy who made the two Mummy movies and then also made Van Helsing. So that movie last year, I didn't exactly hate the movie like majority of the people did. And the problem with the movie is that they're trying to make the wrong person as the hero of the movie. Here that respect is given to the one who is the title character. They are sure both were supposed to be the title characters, but because of the terrible performance of the younger one and horrible dialogue writing, of course, even though it was a derivative action flick, I enjoyed it otherwise only for general plot linkage and activities, because ridiculous things happen in action thrillers. Anyway, let that be bygone. The point is that in this movie, you can see, if you pay attention to making connections between characters, if you pay attention to the frame depiction, if you pay attention to dialogue writing, one character, the one played by Manju Warrier, is named Priyadarshini, I think. I mean, I know in the subtitles whatever was written, but because I am primarily a Hindi speaker, so I know. The villain talks about a significant case that Priyadarshini will turn into Janpriya. By words, etymology, I know what that means. So that is smart dialogue writing. People have to be, if you don't give the audience something to be invested in, the movie is ridiculous. Right? So drama wise, this is less than the first, but it tries to pack in too much. Yet, in my opinion, it succeeds on a lot of those. the sequel is always generally somebody going for something much bigger, and that is what happens here. This scale is even international. Who was linked to what? Probably, I think, will be shown in the third part, because during the promotional interviews for this movie, which I saw without having seen the movie's trailer or teaser, what I learned was Prithviraj had envisioned this as a trilogy, and at the end of this first movie even they have a scene which says L3 the beginning. So perhaps the third part will show how Lucifer became Lucifer, along with whatever the plot is supposed to come, teased from what has ended in part 2. Now these are all in general. Some parts I found a bit weird, but you can overlook that, specifically because I tend to notice ridiculous things. One is that someone gets arrested in the movie. That someone is a woman. When someone is getting arrested, from what I've seen, this again is based on my movie knowledge. I do not know about the Indian Penal Code or the new set of laws. When a lady is arrested, there has to be a female officer present. This is a line I have heard in some other movie. That is why I know. In reality, I don't know to what extent it is enforced, but that is the case. In that scene, there is no other woman present, but for a statement, that woman is arrested. And the way it is depicted, which also involves certain colors, you cannot show the colors exactly, because the way it relates to our national sentiment, it would be actually perhaps even illegal or considered slander, but they are not showing that. They are showing the same colors in another form, so that fits their world. Of course, our national colors are used by many political parties in their own structural depictions, so the way it's described there, shown there in that scene, that has a different significance than the one pertaining to the entire nation, but it still is shown in such a way that you want to believe that it is purely intentional of why that scene happened the way it happened. Again, that is with regards to the symbolism that is present throughout the movie. Not that particular symbolism, but what it is trying to aim, the part that it's trying to speak out, that there are problems plaguing our society, clashes, etc., within families, without families, without means outside, not having lack of family understanding. So whether people are dear to you or not, clashes will happen, especially a lot because of ideologies. That is what the movie depicts very well. But it is a commercial movie, so it will do commercial things with it, especially with excessive slow motion. But it does not look bad to me. It does not look bad. I'm not a movie critic, I'm just a general watcher, and I like watching movies. For big screen, I do go to watch things which are worthy of a big screen. That's something which gives you the spectacle. And watching a few here and there small films from time to time. I don't naturally gravitate towards watching dramatic movies. So, and that one point, like I said, is the framing of the colors. Then there are scenarios where you, as somebody who know the words, will feel this is ridiculous, because someone is asking someone else, "Kaun hai tu?" "Kaun hai tu" means who are you? The reply from the other end, I know in Hindi, is what he says is "Teri takdeer." Takdeer is fate. The subtitles say your enemy or something like that. Now, as per significance, sure, those two are enemies, and fate has brought them to that point. But this is where the subtitles undermine what the actual dialogue was. This is another bone I have to pick with another production that I saw some months ago. There's a movie called Maharaj on Netflix about real events which actually happened, stemming from some many bad things which actually were done. One scene in that movie, Maharaj, was that someone is talking about Shayan Puja. Shayan, I know from Hindi, means sleep. The Netflix subtitle is Evening Puja. Shayan and evening have no correlation whatsoever. If you know how evil characters are shown in movies with a Machiavellian tendency, a few raise of the eyebrows, with excessive glancing for a long time, excessive silence for a long time, you know that if somebody is talking about Shayan Puja in such an environment, that will ultimately lead to something sinister. And it has got nothing to do with worship. It has got to do with blind faith leading people onto dangerous circumstances. But evening and Shayan do not mean the same thing. Anybody will be shocked at what the next scene in that movie came to be. I found it shocking, definitely, but not to that extent, because I am able to hear the words which they are saying in a language which I know. I am not paying heed to the subtitles, but a language which I don't, I have to rely on the subtitles. So all in all, these are things which you as a watcher, even though you find ridiculous, but you do not have the capability to make a movie, right? Because if I could, then I would, right? So the point is that you find wrong things which others have done or shown in movies. Calling them out will not make much of a difference, because I am small fry. I am a speck. This is a vast beach of sand. I will not make any difference. This is my opinion. I am just making a video because while watching the video, I thought this is a weekend. I have some time on my hand. Let me make a video instead of writing it down. 3 or 4 times I tried. Ultimately, I managed to record something. With the length of this, I don't even know as a free user if this will allow me to upload. Anyway, this is a good watch, provided you are not swayed by whatever they are trying to say for and against some religions and go around hitting everybody. Look at it as a movie. And if you feel there are problems with yourself or with others in society, do not resort to lawless ways to take care of certain activities, because everybody wants to be simple, everybody wants to have a normal life. You can name things, you can call out people, you can be aggressive, but you should remember that there are people who are dependent on you. So bravery is good, bravado is probably not. Just bear that in mind. Otherwise, this movie is the second movie of a set of 3. The first one was on Prime Video, I guess it still is. This one I did not see who the streaming partner is or was or going to be, because probably because I missed that part, or maybe they didn't mention, I don't know. Anyway, third part, whenever it comes, I think I recognize the person at the end, because as per the plot, third part is probably going to take place in China, and I do not exactly remember, but probably the man shown at the end was Donnie Yen, who is a renowned actor and martial arts choreographer. I guess it's Donnie Yen, I don't know. I tried to look up Google, but Google pointed me to older links and I got even more confused. Anyway, thanks and bye.